The purpose of this segment is to talk about hip hop and how it has, or rather, how certain albums have influenced me, or just the way that I responded to certain albums, or so on and so forth. So, but before we talk about albums, we have to talk about songs that were influential because songs influenced me way before I even began collecting albums. Say, before I began collecting albums, which was when I was age 14, going on, 13 going on 14, or no, rather 14 going on 15. In the summer of 1988 is when I started collecting albums really heavily on good quality cassette tapes that I would tape other friends' tapes or even buy certain record albums from the record store RBG's in Warren, Ohio. Let's start with the early Sugar Hill records. I remember when I was 6 years old, I was living in California. My mom had moved us from Warren, Ohio to California. And of course, Sugar Hill, Rapper's Delight was a big record. Everybody knew the words to it. It came on radio 20 times per day. Everybody loved it. So that was one of the first influential hip hop records that influenced me. After that record, I could say then the other Sugar Hill records. Once I moved back from California to Ohio, then the other Sugar Hill records began to come in rotation, like Apache by the Sugar Hill Gang, and the battle record of the Sugar Hill Gang and Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, those records, and the Tom Tom record, which Sugar Hill Gang remade, but the Tom Tom record was really influential because I remember doing a dance, the Smurf, to that record at the skating rink in Champion, Ohio. We would all go skating on certain days in the summertime, on Sundays, or just every holiday. There would be like a skating rink jam party, and I remember they would mix that record in with the Sugar Hill Gang record, and we would all be doing the Smurf on the dance floor to that record. Those were some good times to those records, and skating to the Sugar Hill Gang records as well as other records. So then jump, I guess, 3 years after that, from age 8, let's jump about 3 years, age 11, in the 6th grade. Another big influential record was UTFO, Roxanne, Roxanne. I can recall when that record came on the radio, the Cleveland station, I think it was called 108, something like that. But that record was very big, and I can recall when I first heard it. It was one of the biggest influential records of the time, and everybody was just loving the record. Everybody was talking about the record. We all, once it came on the radio, we would turn it up and blast it, and we loved that record. That was a crazy hot record at the time when it came out. And then, of course, you had the Roxanne response to that record, so that was a big record also, very big and influential. And then after that time, the biggest record that I can think of from the 6th grade didn't come until like a year later, and we all know what that is, of course. Think about it, like year 1984. That would be Dougie Fresh and the Good Fresh Crew, the show. And then after the show, which was it was the B-side to the same record, Lottie Dottie, was started getting played on the radio, and that was the most crazy record that we all listened to on the bus coming home from school and actually performing the record on our own. One guy doing the beatbox and the other guy doing the rap. And those are some very influential records also. So those are like the biggest records I could say I can remember as a youth growing up. Before I even started collecting music, those were the biggest records to make a big influence on me. Rapper's Delight, just really all of the Sugar Hill Gang records and singles that they put out. The Sugar Hill records, Sylvia Robertson's Sugar Hill records had some great records. Like the music, I just loved those records from the Sugar Hill Gang record label. And then UTFO, Roxanne, Roxanne, and then Roxanne's Revenge, and then Dougie Fresh and the Show and Lottie Dottie. Those were the biggest records that had an influence on me before I actually started collecting albums and really studying albums and album formats and studying lyrics and studying hip hop as a whole.